And welcome back to News Center. Thank you so much for staying with us. We continue here with our coverage. All eyes are focusing on the 2.6 trillion shillings budget that is going to be read this afternoon by the CS Henry Rotich. We have been covering this for you since morning, and we continue to do that throughout the day today. All right, so now I want us to link up with our reporters across different locations here in the country to just get to hear what really are the expectations of Kenyans across the country. And I'll start by speaking to my colleague Elvis Koskei, joining us from Eldoret. Thank you so much, Elvis. So have you been able to speak to Kenyans on the ground, and what are they saying about this budget? What are their expectations today?
Thank you very much, Betty, there in studio and here in Uasin Gishu County. Many Kenyans, or a section of residents of Uasin Gishu County, have raised eyebrows pertaining different issues. I'm aware that the 2.6 trillion the government plans to spend maybe this year, according to some of the residents of Uasin Gishu, I think the government will be overspending. And also, the maybe Kenyans are also expected to pay maybe 1.7 trillion, which amount in taxes that they are expected to pay this year, and also the 3.8 trillion debt that the country is reeling under, which is something that is out of the way. Maybe I'll talk to Senator of Nandi, Stephen Sang, just to give us a perspective of what he expects today as the CS of National Treasury is going to deliver his statement on the national budget. Thank you very much, Mheshimiwa. Where are we heading as a country? 2.6 trillion.
We should be excited about an expanding economy. You know, in fact, I would be concerned if we were reading a budget that is lower than what we are talking about. It only means that we are, as a country, moving forward. We have an expanding budget. We have an expanding economy. What would worry me is the way we allocate the 2.6 trillion within the various sectors. If, for example, that money was going to a lot of the recurrent expenditure, a lot of the other, services that are not geared towards expanding the economy, that would be of concern. But I am sure this budget, because, the budgeting process is that we have already gone through it generally, as Parliament. And I am excited with the amounts that are going to come to county governments. And still within the national government budget, a big proportion of those resources are going to infrastructural development. And this is the only way to grow the economy of this country. If we have to expand the economy in our country, we need to deal with the infrastructure. I know a bigger proportion of those resources will go towards the construction of the various new roads. In Nandi County, we have 220 kilometers of new road that will be constructed under this budget. We have various technical institutes that are being built. So really, if you look at I think Kenyans should not be alarmed by the figure. What we need to be more particularly concerned is with regard to the spending. Where are we taking this money to?
Okay, Mheshimiwa, but in 2013, now you can see that we have a 900 billion. That's a huge deficit that we have acquired through loans and grants. Do you say that we are heading in the right direction, Mheshimiwa?
I am excited that no cash is being borrowed through loans to be expended on recurrent expenditure. All these resources are being borrowed towards the standard gauge railway, towards expanding connectivity in terms of electricity connectivity to our homes, in terms of our roads, in terms of expanding our technical institutes, in terms of really it is being expended in the right direction. In terms of financing agriculture, we are now talking about various milk coolers in this country to try and help farmers in the North Rift. We are talking about subsidy to farmers in terms of subsidizing fertilizer and the other farm inputs. So really, this is borrowing towards financing an expanded economy. And for me, really, that is the right direction to go. The president and the deputy have taken a bold step. If you are borrowing to do development, and development that will in return give this country an opportunity to expand its economy, that is very good for me. So I think at the end of the day, the kind of borrowing that we have seen by the Jubilee administration has gone directly towards, building the sectors that will expand the economy of this country. Nobody needs to be worried. And two, this country, we are at a point where we are able to sustain our debt. One of the things that we hear the opposition keep on saying is that we are overborrowing. But there is no prudent lender that will lend resources to a government if they know that, if they have assessed the capacity of that government and they are sure that the government is unable to pay and meet its, debt requirements. So as a country, we will keep on borrowing to expand our economy, to deal with our infrastructure, as long as we are able, or our economy is able to sustain that debt. I would be a worried person if we were borrowing, money to be spent on recurrent expenditure. You saw the president at the, State of the Nation address in, the other week. And clearly from the policy statement from the president, you could see that the Jubilee administration is keen on cutting down on recurrent expenditure, keen on cutting down on public wage bill, and putting more of these resources to infrastructural development, and that is the only way we can be able to expand the economy. If you have the standard gauge railway, if you have the expanded road network, if you have the technical institutes, if you have the various, farm, subsidy towards farm inputs in this country, you will be creating more opportunities and employment opportunities for our young people in this country by growing these sectors. And I think that is very important. If you are generating more energy, if you borrow, for example, to come and, generate more energy, that means you are already generating energy that will power the economic empowerment in this country. The borrowing that we see by the Jubilee administration, I am excited that, unlike in the past, the borrowing is going towards development, expenditure.
Lastly, Mheshimiwa, do you think we'll adequately finance the IEBC?
I think we need to, IEBC and the elections is an integral part of our constitutional dispensation. This is an event that happens every other financial, every other 5 years. And therefore, I hope in the budget that is being read today, that the Treasury will allocate adequate resources. We do not want, I know we are at a situation where we are racing against time. And if we are racing against time, we must be able to ensure that IEBC has the required resources, adequate resources to prepare for these elections and be able to carry out free and fair, credible elections in this coming year. So I am sure and optimistic that the budget that will be ready today will provide adequate resources to IEBC so that we're able to conclude this process in July and we continue moving this country under a Jubilee administration once we have a renewed, mandate, so that we're able to move forward in implementing our ambitious program of transforming our country.
Thank you very much, Mheshimiwa. That is Nandi Senator Stephen Sang just giving us perspective of what he expects today from the budget, which will be read later by the CS of Treasury, Henry Rotich.
Elvis Koskei for that very interesting conversation there. So right now I want us to come back to studio and we have Ashley Mazuri joining me here. She is a business reporter with us. Today it's all hands on deck as we delve deeper into this 2.6 trillion budget. Thank you so much, Ashley. So what do you have for us?
So it's only 3 hours to budget. Let me start by asking you, of course you're an entrepreneur, what do you expect the CS should do to help ease the business environment?
The burden. First of all, cosmetics. Last year there was a hike in taxes when it comes to cosmetics. So I hope that this year that is going to change for many women. It's very many women who are affected by this.
Yes.
But of course, going back to the very most important things is that the prices for basic commodities, they should definitely go down. The common mananchi really is suffering to put food on the table.
Yes.
Yeah.
Personally, I can't wait because apparently every single year they have this surprise. There's something out of the ordinary, just pops up out of nowhere. So of course we're going to be waiting for that.
See that.
But of course, let me take a look at the budget outlook. In the year 2014-2015, they allocated 1.7 trillion for the budget. In the year 2015-2016, they allocated 2.1 trillion. Of course, that's a 0.4 trillion increase. In the year 2016-2017, they allocated 2.3 trillion. That is also a hike from 2015, a 0.2 trillion hike. And this year, they have allocated a 2.6 trillion shillings on the budget, which is also a hike, around 0.3 trillion
So
shillings.
it has been going up
Exactly.
the last couple of years.
Exactly.
Last 3 budgets actually.
Yeah, exactly.
All right.
And let's not forget that this year there's a deficit, so a 916 billion shilling deficit. And of course, the government is expected to fill this gap through borrowing and any well-wishers who are willing to contribute. Now, let's take a look at the highlights, 2016-2017 highlights, the gains. The energy sector got 120.2 billion shillings. Now, mainly this was for geothermal development, for power transmission, rural electrification program, the last mile connectivity, which on Monday we saw them getting 6.6 billion from the European Investment Bank. Now, the agriculture sector got 4.9 billion shillings for fertilizer and 1.6 billion shillings for food reserves. Of course, now with the current drought situation in Kenya, we expect such initiatives to help the country. Maternal health care got 4.3 billion shillings. Now, let's not forget that in 2013, the government introduced the maternal health care to help maternity issues in the country. So that, of course, went a big way to help the sector.
The maternal health care.
Exactly.
All right.
Mumia's Sugar got 2 billion shillings. Now, we are aware that the company has been going through many issues in the past months. So the 2 billion shillings was supposed to help them revive the company. And of course, the tourism sector got 4.5.
Mic check, digital. Mic check, mic check. Mic check, mic check. Nienda next.
This is KTN News.